Hello friends, my name is Shayla and today I am here to wrap up the reading that I've done so far in the month of January. So I've ended up reading a lot more than I was initially planning on reading, but I did pull the last week of 2020 into 2021 and I did do quite a bit of audiobook listening that week. So not all of this was read strictly in 2021, but statistics-wise it's all counting for 2021. And yes, so let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to start with the manga because most of what I've read I talk about in other videos. So I will be referencing those as I talk about them. And then we'll dive into the books because I do have quite a bit to say about the books that I've read. I mean, I already have 4 5-star reads this year. Like, it's been a solid reading year so far. I'm really quite happy. So let's dive in. So first things first, in the previous video, I talked about these 10 different series that I started. And so if you want details and ratings and all those kinds of things with any of these series, which are Given, The Apothecary Diaries, Scarlet Soul, From Far Away, Queen's Quality, A Gentle Noble's Vacation Recommendation, The White Cat's Revenge as plotted by from the Dragon King's Lap. That title is such a tongue twister. A Witch's Love at the End of the World, Carolyn Tuesday, and The Girl with the Sanpaku Eyes. Definitely check out that video. I go into depth. You can check my blog, which is linked down below, because I did do blog posts for the series. It's in 2 parts. Another video that I did is I've done a try 3 this year, and that was for Wave Listen to Me. I've decided I'm not going to continue this series, so if you want full details as to why, you can definitely reference that video. I know some people think I was misled on what the series represents, but either way, it's not my kind of story, and I don't love the art enough to try to continue, especially after volume 3. So if you want more details and specifics, definitely check out that video. So with those 14 volumes out of the way, I do have 2 more I want to talk about. And the first one is Daytime Shooting Star Volume 10. I love this series so very much. And this volume made me mad. I literally put it in a corner. Most of this volume was fantastic, but right towards the end, it made me so mad. I believe this one, it either has 12 or 13 volumes, so we're almost finished with it. So I know it's going to wrap up here shortly. I really expect my ship to win, but this mangaka keeps thwarting me, and I don't know how I feel about it. Those of you who know my ship know how I feel about this, but anyways, yes. If you want more specifics as to the content of this volume, I did do a spoilery talk about it on my blog. So again, check the blog if you want spoilery details. All right, and then I also read BL Metamorphosis Volume 3. This series, it's one of those cozy series. This focuses very much on the friendship between an elderly woman and a teenage girl who is trying to find her place in life. And it's about how they bond over boys love manga, and they have the sweetest friendship. Ichinoi is the older lady. She, her daughter is like not living nearby, and so she doesn't really get to see her often, things like that. And it's just, she needs the connection just as much as Urara, the teenage girl. And I really love the direction of this series. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm really excited to continue, though I expect myself to be a pile of tears by the end of it. With that, let's dive into the books. All right, so I only have a handful that physically I've read, and then the rest I've read digitally. So I'm gonna go through the physical ones first, and then we'll get into the digitals, and I'll just have all the insert pictures towards the end. All right, so first up, I have Leopard's Prey by Christine Feehan. I don't remember what number this is in the Leopard series. It's somewhere in the middle. In this one, we're following Remy and Bijou. Bijou, her father was a celebrity. She's part leopard. She was a celebrity as well, but after some stalkery kind of behavior, she comes back home to the bayou and runs into her childhood friend, and she has a thing for the older brother. Things heat up pretty quickly because Remy feels the same way, and things go from there. I don't want to spoil this. It does kind of have a serial killer element to it. So if you like a little more suspense with your romance and paranormal, then definitely check this one out. I tend to really enjoy the series. This is very much a Feehan. The guy is very alpha. and some things like that. So if you don't like alpha heroes, Christine Feehan is probably not the author for you. But man, I really liked this one. Solid 4 stars. Next, we have one of my 5-star reads for the year, and that is To Beguile a Beast. I'm not going to say too much about this other than this is a historical Beauty and the Beast inspired story, and Sir Alistair Munro is super swoon-worthy. If you want more specific details, you can check out the 5-star mashup review video, because I go on for quite a bit. I have a couple tabs from special moments in there. It's really, really good. Probably one of my favorites of all time now. All right, and since I've last done a wrap-up, I have read the next 2 books in the Bridgerton series. So I did read The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is Antony's story, and I gave this one a solid 4. It's been my favorite in the series so far. And then we read An Offer from a Gentleman. I buddy read both of these with Lindsay over at Lindsay Tutt, and I gave this 3 stars. This has been my least favorite Bridgerton book thus far. I have high hopes that book 4, which is Colin's book, will be my favorite. This is Benedict's story. It has a trope that I really hate. It's the mistress thing. It's a Cinderella-inspired story, and he basically offers to take her as a mistress rather than marry her, and it's frustration station. I'm super annoyed at it. So anyways, 4 stars, 3 stars, definitely continuing on with Bridgerton. All right, and then last for the physical books from my TBR is My Calamity Jane. This is the last book in the Janie series by Cynthia Han, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. They are doing another series about Marys, so I'm really excited about that one. This one is a Western where we're following Calamity Jane, Wild Bill Hickok, Annie Oakley, and there is a werewolf undertone to it. It's really fun. I had a great time. The humor wasn't quite as on point with this one as it was with the previous 2, in my opinion, but I still solidly enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. 4.5 stars, definitely a good time, and I really enjoy this writing trio, and I'm so excited for the Mary series. I've got an early arc of the audiobook, and I've been listening to it, and it's fantastic so far. All right, on to the digital things. I've got my bullet journal here to make sure I don't miss any. Okay, so the first thing that I read this year, counting for this year, was Call Me Maybe by Cara Bastone. I gave this 5 stars. You can hear more about it in that 5-star mashup review. This is a fantastic Audible original audiobook. It's full cast, and I highly recommend listening to it. It was really an enjoyable listening experience. And 5 stars, obviously. Next up, we have A Dark and Stormy Night / Seducing a Stranger. This is either book 7 in the Victorian Rebel series or book 1 in the Good Sisters series. Both are the same. It's the same book that overlaps 2 series. And solid 4, I really enjoy this. This is Carlton Morley's story. So if you read The Highwaymen by Kara Gimburn, you've met Carlton, and this is his story. And him marrying one of the Good Sisters. And it's really, really good. It has the surprise baby trope, but it does surprise baby in a way that I enjoyed it. So that's all I'll say for now. But I know that's not everybody's trope, which is why I mentioned that it's there. But I feel like Kara Gimburn did it in a way that wasn't obnoxious like it usually is for me. So I really ended up enjoying it. All right, next on the list is Her Texas New Year's Wish. This is a Harlequin in which we have a family that is opening kind of like a hotel bed and breakfast. There's this woman that they've made the manager. She's really attracted to the brother from Chicago, and he equally to her. And then there's an incident that happens where the balcony at the hotel basically collapses while she's on it. And so it's like a nursing her back to health, figuring out what's going on kind of situation. I really enjoyed it. It was really cute. I had a good time with it. And it's all about figuring out what matters to you and what you're willing to give someone else. It's a really interesting discussion, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars. After the success of Call Me Maybe, I decided to try another Audible original, and this one was After the Fairy Tale, kind of centered around a Bachelor-style show. And this one I gave 3 stars. It did not work as well for me, and I think that was more the story than the audiobook narration. The narration was fantastic, which is why I gave it 3 stars. But the story in and of itself was definitely not for me, because she's basically cheating on the fiance with her childhood best friend for most of the story. It just didn't work for me. It's not a thing I love. All right, next up we have the first book in the Winston Brothers series, which is Truth or Beard by Penny Reed. I ended up really enjoying this, 4.5 stars. Not my favorite Penny Reed ever, which is why it got a 4.5, but I can definitely understand why some people really love this. There were some things that were just dragged out a little long for me, which is why I knocked half a star on it, but I still am really excited to continue on with the Winston Brothers. As soon as I finish my current audiobook, I plan on doing another one of those. So the narration is fantastic on these. Highly recommend listening to them. I do know that they're on KU as well. All right, next up is another one of my 5 stars, and that is Someday My Duke. Oh, I have that one physically. Where did I put it? I forgot I picked it up recently. So that is Someday My Duke Will Come by Christina Britton. I loved this so very much. And this gave me all of the fake, it's a fake fiance trope done in the best way. It's kind of like my brother-in-law's best friend kind of situation. It's so good, but it has a lot of meat and a lot of depth to it. Again, so good. Highly recommend. For more details, check out the other review. Next is Portrait of a Forbidden Love. Now, this one involves a woman who's trying to make her way in the art world, which is very dominated by men at the time. This is a historical Harlequin. And basically, this man has been sent to keep an eye on her as she is supposed to make this collection for a certain amount of time to be evaluated by the art board one more time. They don't plan on approving her, but as he's there, he gets to know her. She's very talented, and her keeper essentially ends up falling in love with her. It's really sweet. I really like how that one played out. Another solid 4. Next is The Worst Duke in the World. This was one I was really excited about because I liked the concept of it, but I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I didn't really love it. I don't think I'm going to physically buy it for my collection. I'm okay to just have it digitally. This guy was a selfish prick, obsessed with his pig, didn't really care about his son as much as he should, and it became this competition between him and the love interest, and it just didn't jive with me, and not the kind of historical I like. I know there are going to be some people out there who really love this one, but it was definitely not for me. Next up, I read Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson. This is a novella that takes place in between book 3 and 4 of the Stormlight Archive. I gave this one 5 stars. I forgot to include it in my 5-star reviews, but honestly, this follows primarily the Lopin. If you're familiar with the series, you know who the Lopin is. And I absolutely adored this. This gave you so much information that is actually really important in Rhythm of War. So I highly recommend reading it before you read Rhythm of War for sure. I'm currently reading Rhythm of War, and I'm so glad that I read Dawn Shard before. I'm not going to say anything because it is a novella and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's basically kind of like a pirate treasure adventure. That's the easiest way to kind of describe what's happening in the book, in the novella. And it's fantastic. I really, really love it. Definitely check that one out. All right, the next one we have here is You Have a Match by Emma Lord. Sadly, this one doesn't live up to Tweet Cute, and I gave this one 3 stars. It's definitely more inspired by The Parent Trap. It's about a girl who takes a, DNA test, and she finds out she has a long-lost sister, and she basically makes it so that she meets up with this sister at a summer camp. Very Parent Trap kind of way, and there was just so much lying, and it didn't feel good, and I didn't enjoy it. The writing was still solid. It was just not my kind of story, so I gave this one 3 stars. Next, we have Enjoy the View by Sarah Morgenthaler. Again, this one was fun. I think if you've liked the other 2 in the series that you'll really enjoy this installment. In this one, we're following a woman who is a director, and she ends up having this shot continuously interrupted by the people of Moose Springs, just like pulling over to help her. And the guy who helps her is like the sheriff or one of the deputies in town. I can't remember specifically. And he also does rock climbing. So this has a huge center. It centers a lot on climbing. And it's about how he ends up helping her get her expose on Moose Springs without actually entering Moose Springs and disturbing the residents and stuff. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. 4 stars. If you like the other 2 books in the series, you'll definitely enjoy this one. And then the last one we have to talk about is another 5-star, and that is Flirting with Forever by Cara Bastone. Yes, that's 2 Cara Bastones I've given 5 stars in the first half of the year. So This one is the third book in the Forever Yours series. This is the sequel to Can't Help Falling. I do recommend at least reading the second book before you read the third book, because characters that are important in book 2 are also very important in book 3. So I would recommend, they do like stack up on each other. So I would recommend reading the whole series, though I haven't read book 1 yet. Planning on reading that soon with Lindsay. So anyways, I really enjoyed it. Again, check out the video for more details on that one. But that is my wrap up, though it was a lot. I've talked about a lot of them in other videos. I'm hoping that will continue to be a trend as things go on throughout the year. And again, any important links will be linked in the cards or down below, probably both, because I like to cover my bases. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you've read a 5-star yet in 2021, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.